friends, welcome to Love and Life's Journey DIY. I'm Chantel and I am so glad you're here. I decided to do my intro outdoors today because all of the DIYs I'm going to be doing are for the outdoors. I decided to take some thrifted items as well as some kind of tired looking items that I already had and just refresh them and make them look brand new and upcycle them, and so that's what we're going to be doing. So let's jump in and get started. So it is really bright out today and very warm. It's about 90 degrees, but it's a perfect day to spray paint some things, and I have been wanting to refresh this bird bath for a long time, and so that's what I'm going to start with. So I'm going to start by using a wire brush just to get off any loose paint and also to go over that rusty part at the bottom so that I have a good base to start with for my fresh paint.
And next I want to be sure to wash all of the loose particles off and then let this dry completely before I paint it.
And now I'm just going to set it out in the sun. It's a 90-degree day and it's going to dry really quickly, and then I will move it back into the shade so it can cool down a little bit before I actually paint it. So the paint I chose for this is Rust-Oleum Universal Advanced Formula Metallic Paint and Primer in one. This is for any surface. It specifically lists metal. I chose this because it says rust preventative, and this is in the color Oil Rubbed Bronze, and I really like this. It has a little bit of dimension to it. It's not just a flat paint, and so I'm going to give this a nice coat of this paint. So I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to flip it over and spray the bottom of it, the bottom, like this part here, and then if I have enough paint, I'm going to go over it all a second time.
So just to remind you, here is what it looked like before. It had paint chipping off and rusty parts, and just with a little elbow grease and a can of spray paint, now I have this, and I really like it. The paint turned out a little bit more shiny than I thought it was going to be, but I think that that's going to kind of wear down after time, but I'm really happy with how this looks.
So I was at the thrift store today and I found this really cool wine rack for $8, and I am going to change it into a planter. I'm hoping this is going to work. As soon as I saw it, I had the vision for it. So first thing I need to do is wash it up and give it a good coat of paint. So I'm thinking of using this Rust-Oleum High Performance Enamel on this because I want it to be black, kind of like wrought iron. But I'm not sure about the enamel, what kind of finish it's going to give it, so I'm going to give it just a little test. So I just sprayed it on a little section, and I'm going to let that dry and see what the finish looks like and if I like it or not. So because it's so warm out here, it's already drying. I can tell that I'm going to be fine with that finish. It has a little bit more of like a satin finish than a matte, but I think that's going to be okay for the application that I'm going to be using it for. So I'm going to spray this whole thing now.
I typically don't spray paint so close to my project. I usually hold my can back a little bit farther, but there's a breeze kind of coming up, and so I'm trying to control that a little bit. But you do have to be careful about getting drips when you spray paint so close. So I'm just kind of doing short little spurts to try and control my paint.
And with all these wires and spirals, I know it's going to be impossible to get it all in one coat. So I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to go back over it and make sure I get any place that I missed before.
For my planters, I'm going to be using these little metal buckets from Walmart. They were 98 cents each, and I'm going to spray them with some metallic silver paint.
Once that paint is dry, I am going to be using some elephant colored chalk paint from Waverly and an old paint brush, and I am going to just get a little paint on my paintbrush and just start kind of pouncing that around the outside of the bucket just really randomly, and I'm going to be twisting and turning my brush as I do this. This is going to start giving the bucket more of a galvanized metal look. Next, I'm going to take a lighter gray craft paint, and I'm going to repeat this whole process, just adding some of the lighter paint to this as well. And now I'm going to mix some of the lighter and the darker paint together, and I'm going to go over these a third time. This is just building the layers and giving more depth to the design that we are putting on the bucket to give it that more realistic galvanized look.
And I did remove the handles from my bucket before I planted my flowers in them so that they would fit down inside the holder better. But this is how it turned out. I'm really happy with it. I think it's just unique and fun. And if you had terracotta pots, you could put those in there. I just use these buckets because that's what I had. For this next project, I'm going to be freshening up this cute little garden frog statue, and you can see he was um, painted with different colors, and I think the flower once upon a time was pink and yellow maybe, but it's just so faded and just doesn't look very nice anymore. So I'm going to first clean this up using a Q-tip to get into some of the really tight crevices, and then I am going to use a damp cloth and wipe this all off. I've already sprayed it off with the hose to get like the main dirt and grime off, but I'm just kind of giving it a little bit more of a deep clean so that my paint is going to stick to it better. My goal is to make this kind of look like a limestone statue, and so I'm going to be using chalk paint on this. I'm going to use this linen white, and I'm going to just paint the whole thing with this linen white chalk paint. So once I got the first coat of paint on, I realized this is just too stark white. And so I am going to put a second coat of paint on. I'm going to use this chalk paint in the color Chiffon Cream. And here's the cute little frog by our water feature, by our front porch, and I really think this turned out great. If you are new to my channel, thank you for being here. And if you like budget DIYs and Dollar Tree DIYs, then be sure to hit that subscribe button because I do a lot of that here on this channel. For this next DIY, I am going to use this galvanized bucket that I picked up at the thrift store for $2.99. It may have even been on half price sale. I'm not sure, but anyway, it was really cheap. And I'm going to first get rid of this logo. I think this is the Washington State University logo. So sorry, but I'm going to get rid of it. And I'm going to be using 100% acetone fingernail polish remover for this. And at first I used a cotton ball and that worked okay, but actually a paper towel works a little bit better because it has a little bit more texture. And so uh, just with a little elbow grease and that fingernail polish remover, I removed the logo off of both sides of this bucket. Next, I'm going to take these stickers that I found in the Crafter's Square section at Dollar Tree, and I am going to be putting these around the bottom of the bucket. These do have a pretty good adhesive on them, but because I am going to be using this outside, I am going to be using some E6000 as well as my hot glue gun to adhere these to the bucket. If you were using this inside, you might be able to just to use the adhesive that's already on the stickers. So when I got around to the end, I knew that I wouldn't be able to fit a whole sticker in to finish this off. So I just cut one in half and stuck it right there in that little space, and you can't even tell. It looks perfect. So I'm not sure what happened to my video footage, but I did also glue just some nautical rope around the top of this bucket. And then I'm putting it outside on our front porch with some things in it that we might want on our porch, like citronella candles and a lighter to light them, some bug spray, and also maybe a pair of gloves, and anything else I could think of that we might need out there. And that way it's just right there at our fingertips. Also, I just wanted to show you this citronella candle. I picked this up at Family Dollar for $5, and I think it's so cute, and it has 3 citronella candles in it, so you can take them out and place them in different areas. And I just think for $5, that is so cute.
So a couple of years ago, I did a Dollar Tree DIY video for some really fast, budget-friendly DIYs for the outdoors, for your yard. And so one of the things I made on that video was this planter. I took 2 of the Dollar Tree planters and glued them together with the bottom one upside down, and then I spray painted them. And this was super easy to do, and it's held up really well. I've left this out all winter for several winters, and it's held together. But as you can see, the paint around the bottom is starting to peel off because the water kind of pools in that little rim. So I am going to wash this all up and refresh it. And if you want to see that video of those easy budget friendly Dollar Tree DIYs for the outdoors, I will link it above and in the description box below.
So again, I'm going to start just by washing this all off, cleaning it up, getting all the dirt and the spider webs and the gunk off of it.
So I have drilled holes in this to drain water, but obviously since the water's collecting in here and that seems to be a problem, I am going to drill some holes in this to hopefully help prevent that.
Then I'm going to give it one more rinse to get rid of any of those little plastic pieces from drilling the holes, and then I'm going to let it dry completely.
So for my planter, I chose this Rust-Oleum Universal Advanced Formula Forged Hammered Paint and Primer in one. This is in the color Burnished Amber, and the hammered just means it looks like it is kind of a dented metal, and it has this texture, and I really like that. I think it makes it look more high-end and like a more expensive planter when it was really just a really super budget-friendly project.
And now this looks so nice and new. I use it as a stand for this terracotta pot, but you could plant flowers right inside of it. Let me know in the comments which one of these projects was your favorite. I hope you really enjoyed these budget-friendly, easy garden DIYs. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. And if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well as the bell and set your notifications so that YouTube will notify you every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a blessed day.